What's up guys, my name's Brandon and today we're going to be unboxing the brand new Apple Watch Series 10 46mm in jet black. We'll also be setting it up, showing off the brand new features, and also compare it to the Apple Watch Ultra 2 and other Apple Watch sizes. Because I think a lot of people are going to be surprised by how large the Series 10 actually is. So anyways, this 46mm costs $429. You could also get the smaller 42mm for $399, and if you want to add cellular, that's $100 extra for each. Now the Series 10 does also come in titanium, but you cannot get this amazing jet black color, which you'll see here in a moment if you went titanium. So as far as the actual box itself goes, it looks like the traditional Apple box. We do have the etched in watch right there, which is a nice touch, but on the back, everything is the same. So let's go ahead and open it up. We just peel up on these two. We don't even have to peel. We just kind of pull up on these two tabs right here. And there we go. This opens up so elegantly as always, and there you go, you can see the jet black color right away. And then we do also have the band here as well. So this is the sport loop, and there is also a new Milanese loop for the Series 10, and that looks amazing as well, especially in jet black. And it's always cool to see the design inside of the Apple Watch box. So anyways, let's go ahead and unbox the main star of the show here, the Apple Watch Series 10 in jet black. Got our peel tabs right here. All right, so we have our Apple Watch in the black paper right here. Let's check out what else is inside of the box. So we have our Designed by Apple in California right here, along with our charging cord. And as expected, it is the braided cable. So that's always a nice addition. And then also inside, we just have our pamphlets down here, but no Apple stickers, just this one little piece of paper and our charging cord. And let's check out the watch band here. So this is the Sport Loop. So let's go ahead and unbox this and see how this looks with the jet black Series 10. So just a very simple watch band here. So this is going to be obviously a very popular choice for a lot of people since it is the entry level. The Milanese does cost a little bit extra. And here is the jet black. So you can already see it shining from the edges right there. So let's go ahead and take this out of its paper and get a first look at first impressions of this Apple Watch. So fun fact, this is the first ever polished aluminum Apple Watch. Apple has never done a polished aluminum before. So man, this is stunning. I mean, I'm biased because I just love black things. Like I just love black watches. I love black phones, whatever. So, you know, this looks stunning, and that polish just really makes it pop. It makes it look a lot more like stainless steel like we saw in the past. And first impressions, you can't really tell how big the watch face is, but we're going to go ahead and power this on by pressing and holding this side button right here. And yeah, you still can't tell just yet, but let's take a closer look around this thing because you'll notice some subtle differences here as well. Like on the ring here, this no longer has the red. So before we had a red outline on the digital crown to indicate that it was a cellular plus Wi-Fi, but now it does not have red. And you'll also notice just how thin this is. So this is the thinnest Apple Watch ever. So it's 9.7 millimeters. So that's 10% smaller than last year's Apple Watch. And it's also the lightest Apple Watch since the Series 3. So it's been a while since we've had an Apple Watch this light. It's also 10% lighter than the Series 9 from last year, which seems small, but when you actually hold it, when it's actually sitting on your wrist all day, you can tell that difference. You can actually feel that difference when it's on you for so long. And fun fact, Apple actually moved the battery on top of the chips inside to achieve that smaller form factor. And on the back side of the Apple Watch, this is actually metal now, so that helps decrease the overall thickness as well. And it's also bigger, which allows for faster charging. So you can now get 8 hours of sleep tracking in just 8 minutes. And then over on the left-hand side, we have those two speaker grills right there. So that looks much better, and they also perform better than the Series 8 speakers and also better than the Series 9 speakers. So fun fact, you can actually play music and podcasts from the speakers on the Apple Watch Series 10. The only other watch that can do that is the Apple Watch Ultra 2. So that's a nice benefit there. Probably not something you're going to do all the time, but it's still nice to have. And the Apple Watch Series 10 will also charge up from 0 to 80% in about 30 minutes. So it took 45 minutes on the Series 9, and it takes an hour on the Ultra 2. So definitely better in terms of charging up faster, which is key for the Apple Watch. Anyways, we'll talk more about the features in a moment. I want to get this thing set up and actually see it on my wrist. So we're going to go ahead and set up here. You do need to bring over your iPhone for this. So you do see this little pop-up down here when it detects it. So if it does not detect your Apple Watch, just try locking your iPhone and unlocking it, and then you should see it. So let's go ahead and continue right here, and then we will have to scan this little orb right here on the Apple Watch. So on our iPhone, we're going to go ahead and set up for myself. And we're going to go ahead and hold that in the frame right here so we can scan that orb. So you might want to get a little bit closer, and you will know it will automatically detect it for you. You don't have to do anything. So there we go. Your Apple Watch is paired. And now you can start to see how big this 46 millimeter is. That is crazy. Let me put this band on. So we're just going to go ahead and put this Apple Watch band on. So we're just going to take this little, where you see the little magnet on the inside right there. We're going to slide that towards the inside of the watch. And then we have the other side where you can see the sizing right there. We're going to put that in on the inside as well. That should not be showing on the outside. And there we go, it's locked in. Okay, so take a look at that. That is the 46 millimeter Apple Watch Series 10 compared to the Apple Watch Ultra 2. Again, 49 millimeters versus 46 millimeters. However, look how much lower this sits on the wrist, and also just how much more of the screen you can see, which it's hard to tell right now, but wait till we get to the actual watch face. But you could just see the thinness as well. Like on the wrist, especially from the side, it just has such a smaller profile. It sits so much lower and closer to your wrist than the Apple Watch Ultra does. So of course, Apple Watch Ultra is meant for, extreme durability. So that's why it has a much bigger body. But I think the Series 10 is going to be a great way to get a big watch face without having to get a big body. Like before, you had to get the Ultra if you wanted a big screen. So it's just having us go through the initial setup process. So I'm not going to add a passcode for now. So we'll just go ahead and do no passcode. We have bold, text, and size. So if you want to add your bold text, you can do that as well. Shared settings. So this shares the settings with your iPhone for location, Find My, and all of that. We'll tap on OK. And now you can get notifications about your health for noise if you would like to. I like that feature, so I'll keep that on. Then we also have the safety splash screen, which tells us about some of these safety features, such as emergency SOS, fall detection, crash detection, and backtrack. All of those are available here on the Series 10. And then we do get a tutorial for double tap. So this is the feature where you can, tap your index finger and thumb together to perform certain actions. That does also get better with watchOS 11, which we'll talk about here in a moment. And we do also have the depth gauge and the depth app on the Series 10. However, it can only go up to 20 feet. So this is not quite what you have on the Apple Watch Ultra. So you can have that set to automatically open up when submerged, which that is a great feature. I would highly recommend turning that on. So now our Apple Watch is syncing, and I set this up as a new watch, so it should not take very long. And there we go. We get our little hello screen right here. And now you can start to see the full effect of this 46 millimeter Apple Watch Series 10 and the screen. So we're not going to take the tour of watchOS 11, and let's go ahead and hit cancel on this, but take a look at the watch faces here. So also you'll notice that when we go to the always on mode, so if I go back to here and we go to always on, you'll notice that on the Series 10, we have the moving seconds hand right here. So because we have a 1 Hertz refresh rate, you can now see the seconds hand even in the always on mode. So you don't actually need to have the watch awake to see the seconds hand filling. So on the Ultra 2, you can see it didn't actually show that. But because of that 1 Hertz refresh rate, we can now see that. And this also shows in the other new Apple Watch. So if you go to add a new watch face, we also have this one right here called Reflections. And you could also see that with this watch face as well. So you can see the seconds hand ticking, even though we're in the always on mode. And here's a look at the home screen. So if we compare that to the Ultra 2, you can see it's pretty much the same. I mean, I'm not really feeling like I'm, downgrading here, going from a 49 millimeter to a 46 millimeter. Now the Apple Watch Ultra is a little bit more lifted off the wrist, so it does appear a little bit bigger, but you can see that the on-screen, display actually looks the same, if not larger here on the Series 10, which is pretty impressive. Now, as far as the chipset inside, we do have the S10 chip inside of the Apple Watch Series 10, whereas we have the S9 in the Ultra 2, and of course the Apple Watch Series 9 as well. So they appear to be the same in terms of performance, but it is an upgrade there. However, the Series 10 will be much faster compared to the S8 and prior chips and prior watches. So we're going to take the Apple Watch Ultra off the wrist and just focus on the Series 10. So one other thing to keep in mind here with the Series 10 is that we have 75% more screen area compared to the Series 3. So a massive difference there. And there's also 30% more screen area compared to the Series 4 through the Series 6. And the Series 10 does also have the wide angle OLED screen, which means it will get brighter. So despite the fact that it has the same, brightness specs, it will get brighter, especially in different angles. So if you're looking down at your Apple Watch, it will get brighter than what you're used to, even with the Series 9. So we do have the depth depth application, and we do also have the new tides application. So this is a new application in watchOS 11, which is really nice. And if you go down here, you will see tides, and this will show you the different tides for your area and also other areas that you add in here. So if I go to Waikiki Beach, for example, it will show me when the tide is falling and when it's rising. The Series 10 will also be capable of detecting sleep apnea. So this uses accelerometer data to basically measure your rising and falling patterns while you sleep. And in addition to the sleep apnea detection, we also have nightly wrist temperature tracking on the Series 10. We also have the new Vitals app. So if you go down here, you will see that we have Vitals now on the Apple Watch Series 10. This is not a Series 10 exclusive. This is just a watchOS 11 feature, but this is nice to be able to keep track of your vitals. And then we do also have the training load as well, which you can find inside of the fitness application up here in the top right. That will measure, how you are doing with your workouts. We do also have the double tap feature, which is where you tap your index finger and your thumb together to perform actions. So you can pull up the Smart Stack and scroll through it just with your fingers without actually touching the screen. You could also go through applications. You can scroll. So inside the weather app, for example, I can double tap right here and I can scroll down and see content without ever touching the page. It's really awesome. Now, another feature on the Apple Watch Series 10 that's kind of under the radar is that we now have voice isolation with the microphone, which is a big deal because even the Ultra 2 does not have that. The Apple Watch Ultra 2 only has wind noise mitigation. It does not actually have real voice isolation like the Series 10 does. So if you take phone calls from your Apple Watch like I do all the time, that's going to make a big difference and people will be able to hear you much more clearly. And then we also have a depth gauge up to 20 feet and also a water temperature sensor. So even if you get in your pool and you want to know what the temperature is, your Apple Watch can now tell you. And then here's something really big. We now have faster charging on the Series 10. So I talked about earlier how you can get 8 hours of sleep tracking in under 10 minutes of charge, but you could also charge from 0 to 80% in about 30 minutes. So that's great. That's also faster than the Series 9, which got there in 45 minutes. But as far as the overall battery, how long it's going to last throughout the day, that is the same as the Series 9. So it's still 18 hours with 36 hours in low power mode. So still significantly less battery life than the Apple Watch Ultra 2, which gets up to 36 hours without being in low power mode. And then I wanted to do one final size comparison to the Apple Watch Ultra 2 because I've been very impressed with the Apple Watch Series 10 and its screen size. So you can see here the Ultra versus the Series 10. Take a look, at least in the calendar here, at how much more of the screen the Series 10 actually utilizes. So the Apple Watch Ultra 2 has a lot of black space up in the upper left-hand corner. Now, of course, this could just be a software thing, but it's just something that I'm noticing now. It just looks like the content is just covering more of the screen on the Series 10 than even the Ultra 2. And here's a look at the keyboard on the Ultra 2 versus the Series 10. If we go here to the emojis, you can see what those look like as well. Once again, we can fit pretty much the exact same amount of content, but yet we take up more of the screen real estate on the Series 10 compared to the Ultra 2, which just always has more dead space in it. And just for a full body comparison, you can see the Series 10 46mm versus the Ultra 2. I mean, such a massive difference in size. Even the digital crown there is so much larger. The button is so much larger, protrudes out more. On the flip side, the speaker grill is so much larger. We have the action button. Everything is so much larger, but yet we still have a similar screen size on the Series 10 46mm. So pretty impressive stuff. Now I do want to compare this to some smaller Apple Watches as well. Like right here, we have the SE. This is the 44mm Apple Watch SE. So you can see the difference in the screen size here. So, you think 44 to 46mm won't be a big difference, but it actually is. So that is the Apple Watch Series 10 in the all new jet black colorway. I like this watch a lot more than I thought I would. I thought I would never leave the Ultra, but man, this has me reconsidering because of how low profile it is, how close it is to my wrist. I don't know. I'm going to have another video on the channel, I'm sure within the next month or so, making up my mind if I'm going to switch from the Ultra 2 to the Series 10 or not. I never considered it before this video. Anyways, let me know what you think about the Apple Watch Series 10, especially this jet black color in 46mm. Are you picking one up? Are you choosing the Ultra instead? Let me know all your thoughts down there in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Also make sure to subscribe for a lot more Apple Watch coverage. But anyways, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.